What's up, everybody? It's your boy Chris, and as always, I want to thank you for checking out an episode of Southern Lifetimes. So today, once again, I'm not in the woods hunting, I'm not fishing, I'm coming to you with another cooking video. So what I have here is a deer backstrap, and what I'm going to do to this thing today is I'm going to slice it up, we're going to fry it, then smother it in gravy. This is a pretty well-known southern dish. I grew up eating this. My grandma used to cook it a lot, and we really like it down here. So we just slice it up, we'll fry it kind of light, just enough to get the flour on it nice and crispy. Then we'll make our gravy smothered. We'll also add some onions to it. Actually, before I fry the slices, we're gonna chop up our onion, and then we'll put the onion in the grease, let it kind of season the grease, take it out, and then we won't put the onion back in there until everything is done. All right, so I'm just going to slice some of it up. And it won't be real thin, thick slices. That's about thick as I want it right there. I just killed this is a pretty fresh piece of meat right here. I just killed this deer a few days ago. It was a decent sized doe. So this is pretty fresh. Our gun season, modern gun season came in last weekend. So I went out and I got me one. Got one with my 270. I like to shoot a 270. Can't wait to get back out there this weekend. This weekend I'm gonna carry my buddy's son with me. He told me he wanted to go hunting, so I told him, hey man, I tell you what, if you do your hunter's ed, then I'll take you. And he did it, y'all, so hey, I gotta keep my word and take him. So I'm gonna get him out there. I'm gonna let him shoot the 243 that my uncle gave me. My uncle gave me that gun a few years ago. He's gotten up in age where he can't get out there like he used to. And so because of other circumstances, he decided to give me the rifle, and all I've done with it is let my kids shoot it. And both my kids have killed deer with it. Now I'm going to give him the opportunity to kill something with it. So as you can see, I'm slicing this stuff not real thick, not paper thin, but not too thick either. Now you could, if you want to, maybe beat them a little bit to kind of tenderize them, but I'm not going to do that. Once I smother it in the gravy, real low, on a real low heat, that's going to tenderize it up anyway. All right. So let's slice this one up. So once we get it all sliced up, we'll season it. I got a little bit of silver skin still on that one. It'll be all right though. I got most of it off. I got most of that silver skin off of it, but that little bit won't hurt. So this, as you saw, it was 4 pieces. That made the entire backstrap. But I just cut it up in sections. And then I had all the meat on ice for a couple days. And then I finally deboned the hams and stuff, and I just took the backstrap and cut it up in sections and stuck it in the freezer. It's only been in the freezer maybe 2 days. So yeah, it doesn't get any fresher than this. I also want to take a time to send a shout out to all my supporters. I really thank y'all for supporting the channel and hanging in there with me. You know, I know most of my videos are fishing videos, and that seems to be what most of my viewers enjoy, because my hunting videos, which I don't have near as many hunting videos, some of them got some nice views, but I see most of my viewers enjoy the fishing videos. But I said, why not put some of this cooking stuff in there too? I enjoy cooking. I love cooking, so why not put some of that stuff in there? It may help somebody. You know, it's not really all about the views and all that. You know, I'm just sharing what I love to do, and maybe in the process it'll help one of you. All right, so we got that all nice and cut up. So what we're gonna do now is season it. We're gonna season this meat. Put my knife on a paper towel right there. So I'm only gonna use 2 seasonings. Right here I got the blend from Kinder's seasoning. The blend is just basically a mix of salt, pepper, and garlic. And man, I recommend y'all, you know, if you don't find these types of seasonings in the store, you can always go online. Kinder's seasonings, they got a lot of different stuff. Y'all should check them out. We're just gonna sprinkle this all over it, then mix it up. And then this right here is just the regular old seasoned salt. That's all that is. Everybody knows about seasoned salt. If you don't, something wrong. I mean, come on now. Everybody should have that in their cabinet. Everybody should have that. Good old seasoned salt. If you don't know about that, I gotta question our friendship, man. We were raised on that stuff. That's one of the first type of seasonings you learn to use. That seasoning salt. Okay, we'll sprinkle a little more in here. We don't have to go too crazy with it, because once we make our gravy, because our gravy is gonna have like water and milk in it, and as it cooks down, we're gonna have to add some seasoning to it too. So yeah, we gotta season it on the back end anyway. Okay. That's gonna be all the seasoning we use for now. We're just mixing it up. Now, we're just gonna push that meat to the side. And now I'm gonna cut up my onion. I'm not gonna cut it up too small. When I put it in gravy like this, I like for it to be some kind of long cuts of onion. So I'll probably just stack it back up, cut it one time. That's it. That's all right there. We'll kind of break it down. Now remember, we're gonna throw this in the grease first to season it. Then we'll take all the onion out, and I'll set them on like a paper plate with some paper towels in it to soak up any loose grease. Once everything's done and we've smothered this all down in gravy, got it like we want it, then we'll add the onions back in and just stir them all around in there. Add them to the finished product, and that'll be it. And then I'm gonna do some I'm gonna cook a pot of plain white rice and some biscuits. No, I'm not making biscuits from scratch. They'll be coming out of a can. And once I get ready to make my plate, we'll put the rice on the plate first, set some of the deer steak and gravy on top of that, biscuit on the side, and that's the meal right there. That's your traditional Southern deer steak and gravy meal. At least that's the way I've had it. And I know definitely my grandma knew what she was doing. She was old school for real. She lived to be 86 years old. She passed away in, I think 2006 or 2007. She used to love to go fishing too. When I was coming up fishing, I did most of it with her and my dad. All right, so we got our onion cut up. It's making me a little teary-eyed. We're gonna put some of the deer steak slices in our flour. Now, for anybody who maybe doesn't know a lot about steak, so steak refers to the way you cut a piece of meat. You know, it can come from almost any part of the animal. It's all about how you cut it. Now, you got higher quality steak cuts, you got lower quality. Something that comes from like the tenderloin and stuff like that, those are gonna be higher quality cuts. We call it steak cuts because you're just cutting against the grain. If the grain of the meat is running this way, side to side, you're cutting it up and down. That's a steak cut. That's all that's about. We'll go ahead and get a little flour on that. We don't want to put it all in there at one time and then try to shake it up, because some of it just get stuck together and then you won't get an even coat of flour on all your pieces. Like I said, this may help somebody that likes deer meat, probably has ate it before, but never really has cooked it. Well, you're about to learn how to make it yourself today. Now you don't have to wait on anybody else. You can cook it on your own. I've done it quite a few times now. Well, a lot. So I know what I'm doing. The only part that may come out different sometimes is your gravy. Sometimes it just comes out different from cook to cook, and then sometimes it's consistent. So you see how I'm putting a few pieces at a time and then shaking it up, getting that flour all over it. Because I don't want to grab any, when I get ready to fry some, I don't want to grab some pieces out of here and they all stuck together. And then I got to try to shake it up again and all that. No, we don't want that. No, sir. We don't want that. All right, now we got all the meat covered in flour. We got it seasoned, covered in flour. So what I'm gonna do now is get my grease hot and then we'll throw the onions in. So y'all stay tuned. All right, everybody, so we got the grease hot enough. I'm gonna go ahead and add my onions. Let's let that cool down some. All right. There we go, that's what I'm looking for right there. So we're just gonna let those go a little while, let them soften up, let them get a little color to them, and then we'll take them out. Y'all see how we getting a little color to the onions now. They still not where I want them though. I'm gonna let them go a little longer. On another note, y'all seen the price of beef in the grocery store? Man, I'm telling you, you better go out there and kill your deer. Hey, it's getting rough out here. Everything getting expensive. People going crazy. Who is not gonna starve is me. I got the whole house eating it. I got my sister-in-law begging for it. Fiance begging for it. Kids eating it, don't know what it is. So you know it's good. All right, so I'm satisfied with the way my onions look. Let's go ahead and take them out. Look at there. All that oniony goodness. Okay. So we're just going to set these to the side until we finish with everything. And then add them back to the gravy. The reason I do that is because while when we get ready to make our gravy and stuff like that, so this deer meat, after I fry it and make the gravy, once my gravy gets kind of cooked down like I want it, I'm gonna add the deer meat back in there. But I don't want to add the onions because I'm gonna let that gravy simmer for a good while on a really low temperature, and that's what's gonna help make that deer meat extra tender. But I don't want my onions to get real soft and just cook all the way down and, you know, mess around and I won't have any onions. Cook your onions down to a paste. We don't want that. When we put these onions back in here, they'll still be onions. That's the way we want it. I'm gonna make sure I get all of them out of there, because I don't want any of them left in there burning up. All right, we're gonna set those to the side. Put my deer meat in there before my grease gets too hot. I think I let my grease get just a tad bit too hot when I put the onions in there. That's why you see all the steam and whatever else coming up. But I mean, those onions, you know, they got moisture on them before we put them in there, so that's what a lot of that is. It's cooking that moisture out of there. It's rising up. You see how once they sat in there a while, everything calmed down. So we're not going to cook this deer meat long at all, because these steak cuts are not very thick. We're just cooking it long enough for that flour to get nice and crispy on them, and then we'll take it out. That's all we're doing. So I want to try to get a lot of these pieces in there quick as possible. I don't want some of it cooking up a lot before the rest of it. And if you want to know what type of skillet this is it's a large skillet. So they sell different, this brand, they sell different types. I don't know if y'all can see that good. It says large, LODGE. And so this is like 2 skillets, but you can use this one like a lid. It's actually a lid and a skillet. This top one would be more like a griddle. All right, I'm gonna let that cook down. In the meantime, I'm gonna get something to set the meat on when I take it out. Alrighty, so that's about where we want it. We don't want to cook the life out of it. We're just cooking it enough to let that flour get right. You want that flour to get nice and crispy. And then we'll take it out and put some more in. Because remember, these are real, these slices aren't very thick at all. This stuff is going to continue to cook while it's smothering in the gravy. So, like if I was just going to eat it fried, that's done right there. They're already done. Once we get it all fried up, I'll show you how to make some gravy. All right, let me add some more. This is probably going to be 3 batches. So this will be the second batch. So like I said, that stuff I fried right there, it's really done. I'm gonna try a piece. That is so good. Oh my goodness. Oh, it's hot though. I got the season good too. Season just right. That is good, y'all. Now just wait until I get done with everything and smothered in that gravy and set it on top of that white rice. Oh man. Now that is good. That's some good stuff. All right, so the second batch is pretty much where I want it. Let me show y'all what it's looking like. Yeah, baby. Look at all that deliciousness. So, I mean, to me, deer meat is very similar to beef. Very similar to beef. The color of it is darker. Deer meat, AKA venison, it definitely has a darker color to it. But it's pretty similar in taste to beef to me. especially something like this back strap. And maybe there's someone watching that isn't really familiar with where the back strap comes from on the deer. It's basically the 2 strips of meat that run along the backbone on both sides. It's considered one of the best cuts on the deer. The tenderloin will probably be number 1, back strap number 2. The tenderloin runs along the backbone too, but it's on the underside of the spine. All right, we got that batch out. Let's put batch number 3 in there. All right, let's fry up our 3rd and final batch. And then we can make our gravy and get our rice going. Hold on, everybody. Hey, y'all. Try a piece of that. It is so good. Try it. Got my sister-in-law over here. Try it. I tried a piece, man. It's so good, just fried. It's hot, though. Good, ain't it? She gave me the thumbs up. Third batch gonna be a small batch. So when we get ready to make the gravy, we're gonna take our grease out of the pan and strain out all the crumbs and keep the crumbs. Wish I had some mushrooms, cause I would have put the mushrooms in there with the onions, but I didn't feel like going to the store today, so it'll be all right. All right, that's all the meat. I'm gonna let that cook up some. I'm gonna wash my hands. Then we'll come back and take it out and get the gravy ready. Look at that, y'all. It looks wonderful. Splendid. All right. So now what I'm gonna do is, you see how we got those crumbs in the bottom of there? So we're gonna strain the grease and keep the crumbs. All right, so I'm gonna just strain this grease into this aluminum pan. I'm gonna probably just get rid of this grease anyway. That's what we want right there, all those crumbs. That's gonna help make the gravy. Turn my eye down real low. We'll dump those crumbs back in there. I'm gonna set the grease to the side. All right, so we got the crumbs in there. It's just the crumbs in there right now and just a tiny amount of oil. So this is a cup of water. I'm gonna add some water. Probably gonna put 2 to 3 cups of water. And then we'll also add some milk. Okay. I can turn my eye back up a little bit. I'm gonna put it on about 3 or 4 because we want it to start getting hot and actually cooking. Yeah, I think I'm gonna stick with just the 2 cups for now. Now I'm gonna grab some milk. All right, now I'm gonna add the milk. I'm just putting enough to make the entire mixture pretty white. It's gonna be a pretty generous amount of milk. And what I may do now is add a little bit of beef broth. I don't think I have any, so I'm gonna add a couple of the cubes. And then we're just gonna let it cook down. Keep stirring it, let it cook down. Once it gets nice and heated up, we start seeing it kind of get to a boil and bubbling. We'll add our meat and reduce the heat, cover it up, let it steam and do its thing. All right, I got my little beef cubes. I'm gonna unwrap 2 and put in there. They'll melt down into the mixture. All right, now I'm gonna just let it heat up, keep it stirred. Then once it's ready, I add the meat. All right, everybody, so my gravy mix has pretty much gotten where I want it. So I'm gonna put the meat in, add a little seasoning, probably just some of the blend, which is salt, pepper, garlic, the same thing that I put on the meat before I fried it. Stir it up, put the lid on it. Stir it up, put the lid on it, and then we'll just let it roll, slow roll. So you see how it's bubbling? That's what I want right there. That's what I want. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and add my seasoning first. The blend, salt, pepper, and garlic. I won't put too much of that, just a little bit. Add some seasoning salt. Just stir that up some. Uh-oh. I'm wasting stuff. Gotta wipe that up. Old lady might get mad at me, beat me up. All right, now let's add the meat. I'm gonna add it with the spoon here. I don't want to just dump it in there. I don't need gravy splashing everywhere. All right, we're gonna stir it up. Get all the meat covered nice and liquid. So now I'm going to cover it up. Drop my heat down to about 2. And then every so often I'm going to come back and check it and taste it. Once it starts to thicken up, I'm going to taste it, see if I need to add in the seasoning. And that's pretty much it. So it's going to cook for a good while, man. This may go for, it may go close to an hour. So once it gets as tender as I want it, then I'll cut it off and add the onions. But y'all stay tuned. Let's see how it turns out. All right, everybody. So it's been going for a little while. I'm gonna take the lid off and stir it up. So far, we're looking good. It hasn't really, it's starting to thicken up, but it needs to go a good while longer. Let me let y'all see. All right, I'm gonna cover it back up. I'll check it again in about another 30 minutes. All right, everybody, so I'm about to check the meat. I got my rice all done. Let's see what it's looking like. Oh yeah, we got that gravy starting to get thick. Yes, sir. It's about where I want it, so I'll probably cover it up again, and then the next time I take it off, that should do it. So one thing I'm gonna do right now is give it a taste. I wanna see how my gravy tastes. I may need to add a little more seasoning. I wanna see what it tastes like. Tastes good to me. I may add just a touch of, both of these. Add a little bit of salt, pepper, and garlic. A little bit of seasoning salt. We're gonna stir it up. So like I said, I got my rice done right there. I'm gonna cover the meat back up, and then I'm gonna put my biscuits on. By the time the biscuits get done, everything should be ready to go. I'll put my onions back in there with the gravy, and we should be good to go. Stay tuned, man. All right, everybody, so my biscuits done. I almost let them go too long. They went a tad bit longer than they should have, but they'll be okay. All right, so I'm gonna cut the heat off on this meat. And then what I'm gonna do is go ahead and stir in my onions. Remember the onions that we put in the grease before we even fried the deer meat? Now we're gonna add them back. And then stir it all up. This was 2 whole cut up onions. So now we got them back in there. We're gonna stir it all up. Everything is looking good, it's smelling good. All right, so now I got that all stirred up. I'm gonna fix a plate, see how everything tastes, and then give my opinion about it. All right, now before I fix this plate, I'm gonna let y'all kind of get a close-up view of the meat. Yes, sir. That's what we call that 40 weight gravy. Got that certain thickness to it. That's it. All right, so now I'm gonna fix my plate. I'm gonna put some rice on here first. Then we'll set the meat and gravy on top of it and set the biscuit on the side of it. Gonna put a bed of rice on there. Yeah, that's enough right there. Oh yeah. All right. I'm gonna get my biscuit. Yeah, see my biscuit, I almost let it go just a little too long. Started getting a little dark on me, but hey, it's all right, man. That doesn't bother me at all. It's perfectly fine. Yep, so there we have it, man. Let me give y'all a up close view of it. Yes, sir, that looks delicious. That looks delicious. Yes, sir. That looks delicious. All right, so now I'm gonna try it. See how it came out. I'm gonna get a piece, make sure I got some rice and gravy on there with some of the meat. That's hot. That is so good, y'all. The gravy is just right. It's all seasoned just right. Then you got that rice in there with it. You got the biscuit. Oh yeah. It came out just right, man. So, like I said, I've done this many times. Been doing it for a few years now, so I'm not surprised. Not to brag or anything, but it's real simple to make, man. You just frying the meat, making your gravy, cook you some rice, some biscuits. It's really a simple meal. It's just learning how to get that gravy right and consistent. So, yeah, it's good, man. It turned out awesome. So there you have it, man. Fried deer steak and gravy. So you don't necessarily have to do this with the back strap. It can be any steak cut off the deer. But I mostly do it with the back strap. Not always, but that's what I mostly like to do it with. So yeah, there it is, man. For anybody, you know, maybe you want to try it one day, there it is. It's simple. Just keep doing it. You'll get the hang of making the gravy and it'll come out fine for you. So hey, if y'all like this video, please hit that like, subscribe button. I really appreciate it. And I'll catch you in the next video. Peace.
Yeah.